What is going on, y'all? Good morning. Good morning. We do have, of course, the usual great music coming your way. We got Richard Doty. We got the Amazon Prime warning for the star seeds. But I wanted to give you guys an update on the timeline and some interesting news that happened. We had it shared by Jay of Project Unity, which I thought was great. I'm going to get to that tweet in just a second. But he actually shared it while I was updating the site. So there is some stuff is just not showing up on his demo, but he did share it, and I love that. So we're going to get to what was missing from his demo, and then I'm going to show you what updates I made in order to make this stuff even better. I demoed the timeline yesterday. If you didn't see it, go catch that live stream. And I went on for 3 hours, answered some questions, had a good time. And since then I've made even more updates. And I figured why not keep you guys up to speed as they happen. And that's a good time. So on top of that, we got some new clips to play. I got some new stuff coming out, new videos. And I want to kind of drop them in here and give you guys a sneak peek. But we might as well get right into it. But you know what? I do think that there should be a nice little video. We need to add another video in here and kind of get us going. If you're over here from Twitter, great. If you're over here from YouTube, even better. Live it up. Live it up. I guess there's a lot of stuff. I'd love to talk to you a little bit about how this project kind of came to be, and then get into where I think it's going to go. I think that would be a really good use of this little stream over here. Again, this is kind of just a catch-up one, so hope you guys enjoy yourself. And sorry, no camera right now. My studio is in disarray, and I'm kind of getting it going. Things get crazy when you're just doing computer work. It is a wild ride. In terms of what kind of things can just kind of get lost in the dust. So I've never done it before. I've never just had, a project like this to just kind of sink my teeth into. So it's been really good. But let's see if we can get this loaded up. I'll show you guys what kind of updates have happened since yesterday. And also let me know in the comments if you guys want to hear daily updates at all, or you just want to know when you can get your hands on this bad boy. All right. Getting it loaded for you guys. Okay. So check it out. It looks the same, but also a little different. It depends on how keen your eye is on this stuff. But here we can see that I enlarged these, and I made them all caps, and I made them all the same kind of centered. So I think they're easier to read. I am going to work on the width of this border that's around these things. I'm going to work on the width of that. I think I'm going to make it so that the width reflects something about the case, whether it be the amount of data that I have backing it up, or the importance of it, or even maybe things like upvotes and downvotes. It might be reflected somewhere in the visual language of these things, these events along the timeline. Now, when Jay was previewing it, I'll show you his tweet in just a second. When Jay was previewing it, there was a lot of funny business going on over here, and also you couldn't read the names on the timeline. So Jay, if you're out there listening, you're supposed to be able to read the names of the events. It's not supposed to be all black. And I also made it so when you select an event, it stays selected. So you see, it's easy to tell what event you're looking at now. It's the only white one in the mix. So that's what I wanted. And that's what I got working last night, along with making these a little more rounded. And I feel like it works really well with the style of the site right now. Right, so I wanted to round these corners up a little bit, and then enlarge the text and make it more readable, which I think it is. I don't know what the zoom in command is for an Apple, but if anybody knows that, hit me up, and I'll be able to zoom into these, and we can really see what's going on. Another thing I did right? Another thing I did was for these fields down here, I took the glow off from behind it. So there was this weird glow effect down here. I think it looks a lot more clean now. Now, if you type in something, it's still there. The glow effect is still here. Now, look, I love how fast that is, by the way. Watch these things reappear. Boom. But if you just type in, yeah, it's just a live search. It gives you what you want. Gives you what you want. I love that. I'm going to type in orb and see what happens. Oh, orb in the title name. That's a new one. So I love that, guys. Another thing I did, and this is why I like live demoing this, is because when I'm by myself, it's all good. Everything looks the same. But when I get to show people, I realize there's some stuff that needs to change, right? So one of them being the high contrast button. I thought the high contrast button was a little weird. And now it's a toggle switch, which I think is less weird and actually really cool. All right? This toggle switch is where it's at. And what the toggle switch does, oh wow, Go Gadget computer, is it changes the color so that way, there we go. That way, oh, whoa, I'm getting a little lag. I'm exporting a video right now at the same time, so bear with me. But yeah, it allows you to see these in a lot more harsh contrast, which I think visually is the way to go. Like if you're trying to do like some really fast, really deep research, you might want to toggle that color on there to make sure that it looks, more readable, a little bit more, in the mix, as I like to say. But yeah, look at this. Major events in red, tech in green, military contact in blue. I might change blue and green. I might make the green the military tech. That's what it was in my mock-up, which I thought was really good. A lot better, in my opinion. Okay, my computer is really not liking. What I'm doing right now for you guys, I'm exporting a selection of a video that I'm working on called Angels and Demons or Aliens, right? There's this big debate in ufology right now of, are we dealing with aliens, demons, angels? What's going on? And I found some really good documents that kind of dive in to what some people in the UFO world think that's going on. And so I'm just kind of getting those out there. Not really exposing anything. I just think that it'd be a good idea to get it talked about. And so that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to share that here with you guys as kind of a premiere. Just a little section, like a little teaser about what this video is going to offer. UFOs and religious belief are definitely been mostly a huge part of the conversation, but in like a weird low information zone, like extremely low information zone. And so I'm just like really gonna get down to the details of what's going on. Let me reload this page. I'm gonna see what's happening here with this computer speed situation. So when you log into the site for the first time, you're gonna be shown this, and then you just get past it. You don't have to do anything, but that's cool. Now, my computer's about to continue to chug away. Sorry, guys. Exporting and streaming and coding at the same time has proven to be quite the challenge. Good to see you, Red. Got Red in the mix. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Do you guys like how I made the timeline match my my profile image? That's one of my favorite things that I did, by the way. I just got it to match it. But I'm going to share the tweet as soon as I can of what Jay from Project Unity said. Now, I gave Jay and I gave a couple other like people like early access. I wanted people to see it that knew what they were doing, that liked to research things. And so the early access thing was cool. And he finally got a chance to take a look, and I just couldn't be more thankful for him to do it. If you guys don't know who Jay Project Unity is, he does a lot of streams. He's been a lot of like respectable journalists and stuff. He's been their first UFO interview. He got this guy named Oak Shannon on camera, and Oak Shannon is referenced by name in the Wilson Davis memo, which is like a big deal right now. That's really cool. Wilson Davis memo is no joke. But yeah, it's really cool. So let me see if I can get this pulled up over here. I'll show you guys this, what's happening over here in the Twitter universe with Jay of Project Unity. Oh, look, my computer's cruising again. We're back, baby. We're back. Okay, get this thread up. Sorry, guys. It's been a long time since I streamed. Okay, see, check this out. Jay said, I want to give a massive shout out to Chupacabra. That's me. For not only teaching himself how to code with AI, but then using that knowledge to create this amazing UFO timeline database. I'm scrolling through it, and it's just fantastic. Really great work from a passionate player. Dude, thank you, Jay. Jay of Project Unity. Project Unity it's a big deal, I think. It's going to continue to be a big deal. It's going to get a lot better as time goes on because I can only see higher production value coming. Now, one thing about... Oh, did I just do a picture-in-picture? Look, Twitter, we don't want picture-in-picture. I don't know who told you we did, but we don't want it. So you can see over here, there's no event names that show up, which is a bummer, right? And then also over here, I was trying to create toggles instead of buttons, and I was testing out ideas, and it didn't work. So I had to revert it. Now, before I reverted it, I was hosting a show last night, Slow Jams dedication show on Twitter. I do that from time to time. If you guys think that slow jams on UFO Twitter are lacking, then at night, come over to my side of the world, and you can hear slow jam dedications and talk about UFOs, and I think it's actually a good mix. So yeah, Jay explores it in this video. He explores the timeline, and granted, when you hover over a thing, it still pops up the information, but it not being there is pretty. I was soured on that a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. I was not pumped about that, but. He's still going through it. He's looking at the features. It's working. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is a video that Project Unity, Jay, shared last night of him using the site. So this is great. And I guess it's really good, too, to see a glitch. Like, I don't know if it's his Explorer or whatever that has it, but again, we're going to get through this together. I figure the best way to work out some of these glitches and to show you guys how I'm working on this is to literally show you. So that's why I'm deciding to go to stream a little bit more often about the timeline and show you guys what's been going on. But yeah, look, you can see Jay does not have any event titles up, which I don't know what's going on there. But all the functions appear to be working just fine. Now, Jay, I don't know if Jay knew where all these features are, right, with the search elements and whatnot. So I'm going to work on also coming up with, like, if it's your first time going to the site, then you'll be prompted and shown things like, oh, little tips and tricks. I think that would be really good. I might even make a video that you can just choose to play that shows you all the features. That might be a better move. But again, huge shout out to Jay for going over this stuff. I think that's awesome. 76 likes. We got 5,000 views on this bad boy already. If you're out there, retweet this. Get out there, get into it. Oh, look, UFO Intro's in the mix. It's amazing. Super proud of Tupa for accomplishing this. Yeah, everyone's proud of the high school dropout for making something. Everyone's pumped about this. Are you guys pumped about it? I think so. It looks like my video might be done cooking, which, again, great stuff. Yeah, it is. All right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a little break. I'm going to show you guys a sneak peek of a new video I got coming out. I hope it is solid in terms of what I selected and the audio and stuff. I did it while we were streaming, so my bad if that's the case. But real quick, if you're here, this is your
the Rosicrucian tradition.
This is your sneak peek at this guy giving an explainer about how Rosicrucians feel and what their belief system is about angels and demons. If you find this useful, share this, okay? Because again, this is like one of those lesser talked about elements of the UFO world, this entire lens. And if you see anything, honestly, in this little clip that starts to make you think about like what has been said and done as far as like alien disclosure, you're not alone. A lot of people see a lot of connections here. But for now, peep game. Here's a little sneak peek for all y'all, which will be.
The Rosicrucian tradition really only broke the surface in human history in the 1600s. The first Rosicrucian documents appeared in the 1600s with texts like Fama Fraternitatis in 1604 in Germany. Now, when these Rosicrucian texts first became available, one of the things that they emphasized in these texts was that the Rosicrucian organization wasn't connected to any one authoritative teacher, and it wasn't connected to any particular type of control structure. There was no institution for it. It was really a very free and independent path of modern initiation. Now, the challenge of explaining some of the more obscure aspects of Rosicrucian spiritual initiation is that some of the practices really don't make a lot of sense until you understand the context that they're within. So we have to present a little bit of the Rosicrucian view of the context of all created life and for the evolution of the human being. So it all begins understanding the whole set of processes by understanding where everything comes from. So starting from these differentiated thought forms in the mind of God at a very high level, those thought forms have within them specific patterns. The pattern of what will later become something that crystallizes into the physical world, or the nature of a spiritual being, or a spiritual process of some type. So as the thoughts from the mind of God move down and we have the manifested beings, in the classical Western tradition, there was understood to be 9 different ranks of angelic beings. These different beings are of different levels of maturity, have different levels of the expansion of their consciousness, and different possibilities for action. They invisibly guide and affect our consciousness and life every minute of every day, but we don't perceive it, just as we don't normally have organs to perceive non-physical realities until they're developed. In classical texts, they describe the spiritual hierarchies, they describe the angelic beings in very specific ways. Their names actually mean particular things. So if you look at the names of the archangels, Raphael means God heals. The name Michael means who is as God. So different beings, their names actually mean something. The angels are sometimes referred to as God's messengers. And it was understood that we had to actually be clear about what beings were interacting with us. Because if we just say, oh, I spoke to God or God told me this, it's too amorphous. We don't know what being's actually speaking to us. And not all the beings are beneficial. If we take a look at what we're looking at tonight, there's another pattern that's laid within the tree of life, which is that it has 3 different pillars inside of it. There are beings that connect to the middle pillar. They go all the way up and all the way down. That means they connect to the highest levels of the Godhead, and they also connect all the way down to the level of the manifest creation. This is connected to the Christ or Christic beings, or within the monotheistic traditions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They refer to them as Michaelic beings. And so that idea that Michael holds the quality of the Godhead, but reduced in scale to where it can be interacted with at an archangelic level. So toward one hand, toward the left-hand pillar, you have spiritual beings that don't understand or really care for the physical world. They're not into that. The physical world is something that seems like a place of suffering. And many of the ancient traditions of the world were heavily influenced by these beings, with teachings of the physical world being an illusion, of the physical world being a place of suffering, get off the cycle of karma and reincarnation, etc. These spiritual beings are advanced spiritual beings, more advanced than human beings. And they also have tremendous spiritual light. When one encounters them, one does not encounter a being of darkness. One encounters a being of tremendous light. And so the name given to the leader of this particular spiritual group was Lucifer. But the Luciferic beings were understood as beings of great spiritual light, but who do not completely understand physical reality or the process of human evolution in the physical world. To them, it seems like we're children being tortured in a place we don't need to be, so get off the cycle and go back to spirit. Now, on the other hand, as you might imagine, it's the exact opposite polarity. It's going to be deeply connected to the process of linking onto the physical materialization process and loving physicality. And in the Persian Zoroastrian tradition, they refer to these beings as Angramenu or Araman. So human beings can fall into this as well by becoming completely materialistic, so that we don't even believe that spirit exists. Spirit is some type of illusion that we have. There's nothing but random evolution over time through completely physical biological processes, and there is no spirit, there's nothing of that kind. So this becomes a kind of modern materialistic scientific perspective that's very sharp in some ways, but has absolutely no spiritual perception. And so for complete materialists, they fall completely into this pillar. Now the Aramanic aspect then took on other names in other times. The Gnostics referred to the being of Araman, or the beings of the same quality referred to as Aramanic beings, as the demiurge. So you read all these Gnostic texts about the demiurge, the dark lord of this earth, that created the physical world. Has many different manifestations in the Gnostic text, and you can find variants on that in other traditions as well, like in South America. Then in Egypt, this polarity was referred to as Set. That term Set, when the Hebrew people left Egypt, led by Moses, who had been initiated in the Egyptian temples, that term Set became Ha-Satan, and so Set became Satan. Now Ha-Satan is a Hebrew term meaning the adversary, and so it means that this is a being that has an adversarial relationship to the human being. Now this idea of holding the balance between these two types of beings is something that plays out in everyday life, and it's a constant dynamic process for every human being. If we were to strip away the veil, we would see that these invisible Luciferic and Ahrimanic beings are influencing our consciousness at all times to go to one direction or the other, just as the beneficial beings are also connecting with us. And in the ancient temple science, it was understood that our connection to these beings was purely through resonance. When we think in a particular manner, when we feel in a particular manner, all of our thoughts, all of our feelings, all of our internal states have an energetic quality to them, and they will resonate like an antenna with qualities of the exact same type in the other worlds. We're influenced by these types of beings all the time. We are like fish that live in an ocean that don't know there's any water. These beings are surrounding us all the time, and our boundaries are actually not solid. They move through us, our consciousness, our feeling life, all the time.
I think it's really necessary to know what these angels are. It is necessary to know. All right, that was a little clip from the film I'm working on, a little short video, short 25-minute video about angels and demons and aliens. So if you thought that was interesting, that guy was named Dr. Peter Gilbert. I give him a lot more shout out in the actual film with more credits and whatever, but I think that was really awesome. That was a really awesome little breakdown. And I loved doing those motion graphics. Being capable of doing stuff like that is really great. And it feeds into stuff like this. Like the UFO timeline just wouldn't be around if I didn't have an eye for design or a desire to make things like look kind of cool. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, digest some of this UFO stuff and some of the more complicated parts of it too, which are, I think, just really, it's really needed. So I'm going to get back to the timeline. I'm going to show you guys some newer updates and what's going on. When you log in for the first time, you'll be greeted with this message. And then also, again, and chime in the comments. Let me know if while you're watching this, even if it's like later on in the comments, I don't care. I do read these, and I want to know what you guys think of this. This could be a good time to be like, oh, this is too small, or that's too big, or what about this? And that now is the time to address those things. For sure. Now it's time to address those things. So I'm going to go over the changes I made. So I got the event boxes a lot bigger, a little bit more prominent, easier to read, and I'm going to work on their legibility as well. I want these things to be really, really readable. And then when you select a case, it stays selected. So that way you know what you're looking at. A little bit more visual cue, a little bit more visual language. I'm going to be working today on these little icons. I love them, right? And then if you look at cases that have multiple stuff, they stack. And I think that's really cool. So I'm going to get some icons in here. I think I want to create an icon for the close encounter scale, right? If it's a CE1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5, I think I want to put it in here so that it's again, just readable from the get-go. Any place in the site where you see empty space, that's like a placeholder for me. I don't like empty space at all, but I also don't want things to look too complicated and too saturated. Yesterday I was trying my hardest to get these lines to stop showing up over events, but couldn't do it. It's very hard. Somewhere in the code that's in there, right? And I'm looking and looking and looking for it, and everything I thought governed it does not. So that's a whole deal. But yeah, here we get to click around. I made it so you can't click on the vertical lines. And I love that. That used to be a real issue. You can hover over them and kind of get the thing to glow, but you can't click on anything. And that prevents a lot of like double clicking when you're trying to get on an event. It prevents a lot of little like unwanted features and whatnot. Let's see if this contract button works a little bit better. There she blows. Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. So I changed the contrast button to a contrast toggle. I really like the toggle. And that's like typical, I think, of daytime and night mode websites. So that's the deal. We'll consider this this here night mode. I kind of like it like that. As you guys know, the search is still very active. We have, thanks to Heather Birdie, we actually have more than 12 cases pending to add to the timeline. I just like going over them, and then while I'm adding them, I like to look for all the extra content that I could. And that's how I was able to get, some of these abduction cases that were put in here. I was able to get them, I think, some information. I don't know if this one has any. No, this one doesn't. Again, the deep dive button, my favorite feature. Absolutely. But Elizabeth Clare, this one was really strange to me. So I'll read this one, kind of give like a mock exploration of the website. So Elizabeth Clare. Elizabeth Clare's UFO experience began on December 27th, 1954, when she observed a silver disc-shaped craft near Drakensberg Mountains in South Africa. In 1956, she claimed to have been taken aboard a large cylindrical craft by a Nordic-type extraterrestrial named Akon. Akon, she described ongoing contact with Akon, culminating in a romantic relationship and the birth of a child who remained on Akon's home planet, Meton, or Meton. I don't know how she wants to pronounce that word. Her last reported encounter occurred in 1963. Roughly 9 years after the first incident, when she claimed to have seen her son. Whoa. That must have been heavy. Clara's story gained significant attention in UFO circles, though it remains controversial and is largely regarded as lacking evidence. I agree. But it is interesting. And I think kind of mirrors a lot of important cases, right? A lot of them. And here you can see she's got like these photos, dude. Like she's really infatuated with this event and this story. Her sculpture looks amazingly similar to her painting. You got to wonder, like, she working off of a memory here? Like this looks like it is. Excellent, excellent work by Elizabeth Clare. A case that few talk about. Very few of us know about what Elizabeth Clare is doing. Right? Like I didn't know. There's a short little documentary. We'll watch a little section of it just to fuel, curiosity here. But this is called Beyond the Light Barrier, the story of Elizabeth Clare. Now, let's see what it's got to offer for us.
Within the vastness of southern Africa, a timeless subcontinent of majestic mountains and lush valleys, contrasted by arid deserts and dry bushlands, there are thousands of sightings of UFOs, dating as far back as the legendary Khoisan cave paintings. Since the dawn of time, man has contemplated the origins of life in the universe, and looking up at the star-filled heavens, wondered if anyone else was out there. For Elizabeth Clara, there certainly was someone else out there, a man called Archon, who arrived in a spacecraft from the constellation of Alpha Centauri. His visits to Earth from Elizabeth's early childhood were to shape her entire life. Their love grew throughout their meetings, and in her adult life, Elizabeth and Archon had a child, a son, who now lives on the home planet of Meton. Our story begins on a farm in the shadow of the Drakensberg Mountains, where Elizabeth grew up.
I'd like to ask you how old you were when you saw your first spacecraft.
I was 7 years old, and my sister and I were feeding the puppies in the stable yard at the time. And the sun had just set beyond over the Drakensberg, but it was still very light because it was summertime. And this enormous craft came across, quite horizontally, across the sky, and it was as big almost, in fact, as a football. And it was quite beautiful. It was about this size, and it shone with a blue-white light. And, of course, I was thrilled to bits, and I knew something was there. And my sister's face was one of absolute fright, really. And the puppies got a fright. They ran yelping into their kennel. And then immediately, of course, we ran for the house, where our parents were sitting on this very wide veranda, as the South African name for it is stoop. I used to go after that, take my pony and ride up to the favorite hilltop with a dip in the top. And I'd go and lie there in the grass, watching the sky, hoping for this beautiful starship, because I knew then it was definitely from elsewhere, nothing from Earth.
Where was this, actually?
It was on the farm in Natal, in the Natal Midlands, which is a very beautiful area, and leading towards the foothills of the Drakensberg. It wasn't until many years later that I saw the same craft a second time. And that, of course, after I had married my first husband, who was a pilot, and we were flying up from Durban to Baragwanath. And Baragwanath in those days was an airfield. It was still light, and we were in a light aircraft, a high-wing monoplane, a DH, that's a de Havilland craft, a Leopard Moth, and my husband was the pilot, and I was the navigator, and it's a two-seater plane. I was sitting directly behind him, and I looked to the east to get my bearings when I saw this bright blue-white light heading for us, and it came straight towards us. And as it approached us on a complete collision course, it slowed speed and simply paced beside us. And I tapped my husband on the back of his neck, and he turned and saw this craft. And of course, immediately he
Love those graphics.
forgot about piloting the aircraft, and we lost altitude. But I had my nose glued against the starboard window, and of course it's a cabin plane, and there was this enormous craft pacing beside us. Enormous hull, completely circular, with a flattish dome in the middle.
The traditional explanation of a flying saucer.
A complete flying saucer. And beneath it were the most beautiful colors of the spectrum that were coming from under the craft.
That's
From the
interesting.
portholes, there was a softer light.
That's actually interesting. So back all the way back then, she's describing something that I think a lot of people would consider to be significant observation. Colors of the spectrum emitting from beneath the craft. That could be electromagnetic. I mean, we all know that, light is on the electromagnetic spectrum, but what's the technology that could cause that? What's the effect that could cause something like that? That would actually be a really interesting, I guess, rabbit hole to dive down, right? Rainbow color, kind of iridescent, invisible and kind of visible light emitting from beneath a craft. That's actually, okay. And you know what? Her story here was really good, but this sighting in and of itself is actually pretty compelling. It's pretty compelling. Look at this. We're now leaving the video, and we're now going to, without leaving the site, without doing anything crazy, we're now back here. We're back in the mix, baby. Here we go. I love that. And this is Elizabeth Clark's event right here. It took place in 1954 in South Africa. So we got the globe right here. We know exactly where it happened. And without leaving anything, without doing anything, we could just pop in here and be like, what other cases are going here? What is this? I'll hover and just tell. That way I don't have to like do anything. 1972, we have one in Pretoria, South Africa. So this is a difference of about 50, almost 20 years. Let's see what's going on with this case. Is it similar in any way? In January 1972, in Pretoria, South Africa, a UFO was reported to have hovered over the city for several hours. Wow, that's a mass sighting. Hold up. Witnesses described the craft as disc-shaped and emitting a bright white light. The object moved erratically in the sky before eventually disappearing. Despite the extended observation and multiple witnesses, there was no photographic or video. You know what? This is a mass sighting. We're changing this. You're going to see this update happen in real time. I'm not going to show you what the back end looks like because there's literally no reason for you to see that. But you're watching in real time, okay? This is Pretoria. Let's just take a look at it. All right, we're diving into the case. Sighting. I'm going to move this to mass sighting. That's just how I feel. That's what's going on. Okay, let's see if it works. We're going to refresh this now. Hope you guys are still with me. Back in this mix. We're going to continue without donating because I'm demoing the site. But if you're on the site, you don't have to click continue without donating. That's not what you have to do. We're in mass sightings here. Let's clear this area up. I want to see it. Pretoria. There it is. Okay, it did move. Okay, listen. For me, if a craft is hovering over a city and there's multiple witnesses, that means multiple clusters of witnesses, multiple groups. So for me, that's mass sighting territory, right? If it's one group, like if it's a plane, if you're in a plane with all of the passengers and everyone sees a object, I'm going to call that a sighting, not a mass sighting. But if multiple groups of people, multiple planes or an airport full of people, then we're getting into mass sighting territory. So that's what made me decide to move that. If you get to the site and you have if you have an account, then you do have a say in some of this stuff. An event could be downvoted because of it's placed wrong. It could be upvoted because it works, everyone loves it. But those metrics go directly to me, and then I can fix or adjust anything, or at the very least take it into consideration. So that's a good thing. So you just saw in real time, I was able to move Pretoria, this event, from sightings to mass sightings. It took me all of 2 seconds. And, shout out to technology for that. As you can see, when you zoom in, more cases appear. And this is because more room appears, right? And the ones that disappear, again, are less, they have a little bit less credibility. Maybe they got a little less coverage. So they're harder to find in the thing. They're harder to find in real life. But wow, look at all these events here. Another thing I like about this is you can see what is called UFO flaps, or just instances of a lot of activity within a short period of time. And this one always gets me. What was going on here? What was going on in 1973-74? The Mansfield Amendment is something that the MH370 audience kind of got me into. All right, I was watching a stream of Ashtons, and they mentioned this. And so I looked it up. The Mansfield Amendment, and I was able to find out like what it was about. So check this, and this is dealing with technology, but also legislation. The Mansfield Amendment of 1973, signed into law on November 16th, significantly altered the role of the Department of Defense in funding scientific research. The amendment proposed by Senator Mike Mansfield mandated that all DoD-funded research must have a direct military application. Shifting the focus away from basic scientific research. This led to changes in the types of projects funded by DARPA and the influence the broader landscape of U.S. scientific research. Shout out to Ashton. Shout out to MH370X. You guys got this in the timeline, and frankly, there's going to be more. Those guys are really keen, and they got their eyes peeled for these events, these papers, these evolutions in science and in law that seem to help support the theory that something like what is presented in the alleged MH370 videos, something like that could take place scientifically. That would be really cool. Cool way to back that up. So shout out to them for getting that information out there. We're going to get more. In fact, I think I'm going to create categories for content creators, people out there that have communities that are doing really good. That way they could be, added to very easily and looked at with a drop of look at very quickly. Drop of a dime. What is that, like a 1940s reference? Anyway, tell me what you guys think. Hit me up on Twitter. Let me know if you guys like the new updates. I know they're subtle, but they've been subtle this whole time. One of my favorite ones would be the fields, right? So I didn't notice how ugly these fields were in the beginning. Here, they had a little bit of glow effect on them, and it was difficult to get rid of it. But I found a new AI kind of assistant in coding. It's called Cursor. And I recommend everyone check it out. If you're doing coding and you're using AI to help you, I recommend Cursor. It really helps solve some of these bigger problems that I had a hard time pinpointing. It helps solve them very quickly. So that was really cool. Really, really cool. Badass even. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's basically it, guys. That's the updates for today. As you know, I update every single day. And so by tomorrow, there'll be some new ones. Right? Maybe I'll get a bug changed, a bug fixed. And we're going to figure out why Jay's video did not include these guys, right? The little words on there. We need to know. Inquiring minds want to know. But again, thank you guys. I'm going to go every day and up until launch. And again, if you guys want to see more, let me know. Drop a comment in. Hit me up on Twitter. It is at Tupacabra2. And then yeah, if you want to support the project, feel free. Visit the merch store. You know what? Let's visit the merch store. What's going on over there? What do you think? What do you guys think is happening in the merch store right now? I'm super curious. It's been a while since I went to this website. Ooh, alien mummies. So if you guys have never been to my website, this is what it looks like. I did do this, but I did this with Squarespace, so I didn't have to design it all. I did animate this. I drew this. That's Bill Nye the Science Guy. He's kind of a dipshit. I created a little game of Snake. This is my first thing I coded. Look at this. Look how dumb this is. You got to get the cat. Oh, okay. Well, that's a whole thing. Got the cat. Look how dumb this is. This is the first thing I tried to code. Oh shit! Oh shit! Look, this is getting good, guys. This is disclosure right here. This is disclosure. We are going. We are going. What's the high score? 11. Oh shit! Can I beat it? High score is 13. Oh, high score is 13, baby. Little improvements every day. The high score was 11. Now it's 13. See what I'm talking about? Here's the evolution of Tupacabra from 2012, my first sketch. On a piece of paper, make someone laugh. To 2020, look at that. That's beautiful. And then 2024, wow, does it get cooler than that? Yes, literally millions of things are cooler than that. We have Shadows of the Invisible Sun. That's my documentary I made. It put me on the map. Look at these reviews. Diana Pasulka. Whoa, the reference to the Invisible Sun takes me to my work today. Literally. Plato's Cave. Whoa, baby. That's cool. We love Dana Pasulka over here. Jack Sarfati called her some kind of fraud or something. Jack, calm down. Calm down. This is a wonderful compilation. I think this meant to be compilation, but it's complication. Thank you for making it. Go on this. Literally go here and look at the comments. I met a guy in New York. He was shaking. He was almost crying. That's how much this film affected him. It's not even supposed to be like that big of a deal. And then we got this video. We might play this before I go. I might go out on this one. If you guys want to see more of my videos, just go to my YouTube. Like, you're here already. Just go there and look through. You'll find a ton of stuff. But yeah, this is my website, and I want to show you guys the store. So if you want to support the channel, pop in here. There's cool stuff. I designed these, right? I made these to work. They kind of look and feel like screen print shirts. That's the vibe I like. So I wanted to make these kind of like band shirts. And on the shirts they have the craft type, right? The CE type, and then a photo kind of turned into a graphic of the event. The Phoenix Lights, celebrating the Phoenix Lights. And that's cool. That's a little chunk of UFO history right there, right? That's a little chunk. And then the same thing with the Cash Landrum. These ones I think are really cool. So I created these ones too. This is an artist rendition of what they saw. This is Cash and Landrum right there. And then they're like kind of their wounds that they suffered. So it's kind of crazy. But here you got the craft image right here. It's a diamond shaped, the CE type, and then you got like the state it happened in. So there's some subtle little information there that kind of keeps it in the mix. I love it. I think it's cool. You can get the mug, and here is a fun one: the Invisible Community College shirts. I have one of these. And I have the Cash Landrum, and I have this too. I'm wearing the Chupacabra shirt right now. It's laundry day. And these are the most comfortable shirts I have. I swear to God, this is the most comfortable shirt that I own. And it doesn't shrink in the dryer either. So it comes in, it's pre-shrink or whatever, because you could do whatever you want with it. Stays soft. The shit's dope. Shout out to Printful, the people that helped me kind of handle this stuff. And then this is actually a prized design of mine. Okay, because I just drew a photograph that existed, and I made the colors and the shadows and I wanted it to look really cool. And then I added this little circle. This is J. Allen Hynek. He is a UFO researcher, was the lead astronomer for Project Blue Book. He ended up flipping on Project Blue Book and deciding that he actually wants to talk about disclosure and aliens and Rosicrucianism. So I put him on the shirt, and his son, Paul Hynek, endorses the shirt. He loves it. He loves it. I got to send him some. Let me know. If you guys want to donate a shirt to Paul Hynek, let me know. I will get you the information, right? You can purchase it for him. I'll send it to him. Live it up. He's going to love it. Paul Hynek, baby. Paul Hynek. He should actually have a stockpile of these shirts for every event he goes to. If there was a shirt like this from my dad, I'd be pumped. That's all I'm going to say. I'd be jazzed. So there's that. Oh, we got Jacques Vallée. Very cool. Very cool. Love that. Love this guy. Comes in blue, comes in gray. Love these mock-ups. Very cool, yeah. There's also a funny Biden shirt. This one was funny. Someone requested that. Custom made it for him. Alien shirt. Aliens are demons. So it's the word alien, and the definition for a demon is in here. An evil spirit or devil, especially one thought to possess a person or act as a tormentor in hell. These are low key kind of UFO jokes. Okay, that's what's happening. We got this guy in the mix. I love this shirt. You know what I mean? Like, it's dumb enough to be interesting. That's basically the vibe here. And then, of course, we got Tupac, Chupacabra, and Carl Sagan. All right, we know Carl Sagan is the man, and so we get him in a shirt with this dude here, like they're in an album cover, and that's literally the vibe. That's all we're doing here. We're having fun. We're really doing it. So, we got Samael. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm gonna call you Sam. I'm Sam too. That's my real name. Sam, what's up, man? Good to see you. I'm just going over my store, letting people know what's going on. Got a couple minutes to kill still, so I figured why the heck not? But yeah, man, it's a good time. It's a good time. It's a good vibe. It's the Chupacabra store. That is what's happening. Let me go to the UFO timeline again. Take a look at this bad boy, this beaut. Again, shout out to Jay of Project Unity for posting his little experience with the site. I thought that was really, really cool. Again, there were a couple glitches in it, so I wanted to go live and show you guys, that these events actually have the names in them. They're supposed to be named, and it's awesome. It's awesome. If you guys have any notes, anything you like or want to add to this, any case you think should be in here, you're my core community, let me know. Let me know. We'll get it in here. I think I might make the summary area a little bit more defined I think that this text could be a little bit bigger, is my opinion, but it's there and it's readable. And this is a feature I've been thinking about. I want to know if there should be a play button in the summary so that this can be read to you. So you don't have to read it. You can just hit play, and then, my voice will read this to you. I think that'd be cool. But again, let me know. If you guys are interested, if you're out there, you're hosting spaces, you're doing shows, you have guests, you have interviews, you have product, you have something, consider hit me up to advertise in this little guy right here. Consider that. That's how I'm going to kind of support this site, since the site's going to be free for everybody to use. This ad space here and ad space on the videos, I think, would be really cool. And even announcements you're interested in. I'm going to be using it for announcements in the meantime. But yeah, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, that was it. That's the stream. Take care of yourselves. Keep supporting the timeline. We're looking at a September launch. Hope to see you guys there for it. And take care, guys. Peace.